The Toni Morrison Society was established as 26 scholars met at the invitation of Carolyn Denard at an American Literature Association meeting.
One of the parts of that day that was very proud for me was when Alfred Ben Dixon announced at the Author Society representative meeting that it had been done, that we had started the Toni Morrison Society, and it was going to be the 41st Author Society of the American Literature Association, the 8th for an American woman, and the 4th for an African American author.
Georgia State University became the Society's first institutional home, with a slate of committed Morrison scholars elected as officers. The Society's mission was delineated to initiate, sponsor, and encourage programs and projects related to the works of Toni Morrison. On October 7, 5 months after the Society's founding, the scale and scope of its work changed dramatically. The Swedish Academy awarded the 1993 Nobel Prize for Literature to Toni Morrison, the first African-American author to be so honored. Morrison's Nobel Prize increased interest in the Society in both the U.S. and abroad. Membership rose as her works were translated into over 26 languages, growing to nearly 700 members, including 100 international members. In April 1995, the Toni Morrison Society was chartered in Atlanta at Georgia State University, with Miss Morrison's enthusiastic participation.
We are really here to firmly set the course of a society which celebrates the genius of an African-American woman who captures ever so carefully and powerfully the truths and mysteries of the human spirit. We are here because we want to do work about the work of Toni Morrison.
I take this seriously as a scholar as well as a writer, because we can track what is going on with the literature, with its reception, with the way in which it is read, with the way in which it is understood, its impact on other cultures everywhere. This society can foster interest in and be a clearinghouse for a whole new world of literature.
After the chartering, the Society began a remarkable journey, providing a worldwide stage for scholarship, interdisciplinary programming, and community outreach that would bring Toni Morrison's work out of the halls of academia and into the communities she champions in her novels. In 1998, the Society launched its first national and international programming initiative, the Biennial Conference Series. Each interdisciplinary conference is built around a significant time, place, or theme in Toni Morrison's life and work, and features scholarly panels, keynote speakers, art exhibits, and music. The first conference was held in Atlanta, near her father's birthplace, Cartersville, which participants toured. Morrison read from her recently released novel, Paradise. 5 biennial conferences would follow this inaugural conference. The second biennial conference was held in Lorain, Ohio, the author's hometown. Scholarly sessions on the meaning of home and tours of sites important to Toni Morrison's life and locations featured in her novels were the highlight of the conference. Howard University, where Morrison attended college, was home to the third biennial conference. The events included a 10th anniversary gala and an address by Ruth Simmons, who had recently been named the first African-American woman president of Brown University. During the conference, the Society launched the Young Readers Circle, a community outreach initiative designed to teach 9 to 13-year-olds how to read imaginative literature. Toni Morrison read from her just-released children's book, Who's Got Game? The fourth biennial conference focused on the sites of slavery and escape described in Toni Morrison's novel, Beloved. In addition to 2 days of conference panels on sites of memory in Morrison's novels, Society members visited the National Underground Railroad Museum and celebrated the Cincinnati premiere of the opera Margaret Garner with the libretto by Toni Morrison and music by Richard Daniel Poole.
And that's what many of us like about Toni Morrison's work. She gives us a path into difficult history and says we shouldn't avoid it, we should study it, we should understand it.
The fourth biennial also saw the national launch of the Language Matters Initiative.
The Language Matters Initiative grew out of a sense that many high school students were reading Toni Morrison's work and that many high school teachers wanted assistance from professors with how to teach her work. It became a way of connecting secondary and post-secondary scholars and teachers. And it also became a way to find out how students are reading her work at different levels.
With the first of 3 grants from the National Endowment for the Humanities, the Society hosted the Language Matters Teaching Workshops. 20 high school and college teachers of Morrison's work from around the country participated. The 5th Biennial Conference delved into Toni Morrison's argument that because Africans who left that homeland had to create themselves anew, they could be considered the first modernists. Conference goers engaged in a powerful scholarly discussion on African Americans, modernism, and the American South. Highlights included Toni Morrison reading from her latest novel, A Mercy, and the placement of the first bench by the road on Sullivan's Island. The Society celebrated its 15th anniversary and announced a new institutional affiliation with Bucknell University. With Morrison's work touching international audiences, the 6th Biennial Conference came to its first international location, Paris, France. Participants toured Paris, University of Paris 8, and historic sites significant for Black people in Paris. While in Paris, Toni Morrison was also inducted into the French Legion of Honor. In honor of Toni Morrison's 75th birthday, the Society launched the Bench by the Road project. It began in answer to the emotional lament Toni Morrison shared after the 1988 publication of Beloved, when asked why she had written the novel.
There is no place that you or I can go to think about or not think about, to summon the presences of, or recollect the absences of slaves. Nothing that reminds us of the ones who made the journey and of those who did not make it. There is no suitable memorial, or plaque, or wreath, or wall, or park, or skyscraper lobby. There is no 300-foot tower. There is no small bench by the road.
The goal of the Bench by the Road project is to place a memorial bench at unmarked sites that had significance in the history of Black people in the African diaspora. The first bench was placed during the 5th Biennial Conference on Sullivan's Island, South Carolina. The bench was placed in the exact location where the first Africans who came to the U.S. would have disembarked.
Each time we install a bench, it becomes a kind of community initiative. And what's wonderful about that is it connects community members and readers and scholars with the work of the Society, but it also connects them with some local history, sometimes history that they didn't know. And so we see ourselves as a vehicle for helping people become more knowledgeable about their local history, about American history, and about the Toni Morrison Society.
The Society continues to place benches in significant locations, including Oberlin, Ohio, to commemorate a site on the Underground Railroad. Hattiesburg, Mississippi, to commemorate Mississippi Freedom Summer. Concord, Massachusetts, to honor the life of freed slave and abolitionist Cesar Robbins. And Washington, D.C., to mark the historic Listener Theater, the first integrated public facility in Washington, D.C. As an active and leading author society of the American Literature Association, the Toni Morrison Society has hosted 40 panels at the ALA, sponsored teaching roundtables on approaches to teaching Toni Morrison's novels, and collaborated with the African American Literature and Culture Society to sponsor special events on African American literature. The Society has awarded 8 Toni Morrison Society Book Prizes, led by 7 illustrious presidents. Each of these women, in her own way, has carried the vision and the legacy of the Society forward. The Society's 7th president, presiding since May 2013, is Evelyn Schreiber. She will guide the next phase of the Society's work, supported by its new permanent home at Oberlin College.
We celebrate the Society's union with the gracious family at Oberlin College, which has become a true home for the Toni Morrison Society. As we plant our seeds in the soil that nurtured Miss Morrison, I anticipate future conferences at Oberlin and the building of an archive to chronicle the past works and future projects of the Toni Morrison Society. This first conference at Oberlin promises a path to future special events.
For 20 years, the Toni Morrison Society has been fulfilling its mission, encouraging, sponsoring, and supporting scholarship, conferences, and special programs dedicated to the works of Toni Morrison. The Society has made a major impact on the role of single author conferencing in the Academy and broadened the reach and understanding of Toni Morrison's work. This work has been effective because of the inspired work of its leadership, its loyal and committed members, and a scholarly community and reading public eager to study and embrace the works of an author who is both one of them while also being one of the most important literary artists in the world. The Society will take its signature programming to the next level, to larger audiences with greater impact, to institutionalize its work at Oberlin College, and to establish a living legacy for the continued study and appreciation of the works of Toni Morrison. Congratulations to the Toni Morrison Society for an amazing, transformative 20 years of work in the Academy and the community.